Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, hello, this is Heavy Thrasher of Nasty Metal Productions channel at YouTube. And today, it's time to do a different version of the reviews. And it's Releases from the Past edition. So, for the first video of this version of the reviews, you know, this kick off the releases from the past is none other than Ruler's Evil Nightmares. Man, upon getting this one on Monday, I can't stop listening to this, and I just listened to it again so I can keep a fresh mind upon, you know, just to keep a fresh mind. And man, out of all the new wave of traditional heavy metal bands that seem to, you know, who's just seem to always mimic, I guess, the sounds of Iron Maiden, this one actually comes off as one of the better ones. And this is their first album and was released in 2012. And I did show this in my last video, but I want to actually fully talk about it because on that one I was rushing at the end. And I did say that I see people compare them to either like Enforcer, which is not bad. Listening to it again, I do hear definitely some similarities to Enforcer, but not too much of similarities. But there is. However, I also see another similarities comparisons to White Wizard. Now, okay, maybe there is a little bit of White Wizard in here, but it's not to the point where it sounds dramatically like them. The only thing that probably comes off as maybe sounding a little like White Wizard, maybe some of the guitar work, but not too much of the guitar work. Maybe from the vocals, but not too much of the vocals. It's again, Ruler does not sound too much like White Wizard. And to me, this is pretty much, I'm going to say that Ruler is like what if White Wizard was not so cheesy. Because White Wizard, let's face it, they're pretty fucking cheesy. And hence the name White Wizard. What the fuck? That is cheese to the next level. But as far as Iron Maiden comparisons go too, it's like mostly it's from the first album up until Power Slave. Maybe mostly that, but actually good because there's actually a lot of similarities from the first three Iron Maiden albums, especially the first two, the Paul Di'Anno era. It's got a little bit of that in there, like on songs such as Mayday, Rerule the Night. What's another? Oh boy, what else comes in? I mean, oh man, I don't know if I can say that correctly, but that song right there, that one, I can't say that one right, but that track right there also has some similars to Iron Maiden, especially maybe in the last track, No Hope, but there is some good songs on here, ones where they actually start to really progress. But I think one of the best songs off of here would have to be the title track, Evil Nightmares, which is just a really great track, which also shows some influences from Thin Lizzy at times, especially even on tracks such as Sejeska and even Alone, which is kind of a ballad at times, but it actually, at first it does start off a little bit as that, very bluesy, but it ends up turning into definitely a really great track. That song right there does actually remind me of a lot of Thin Lizzy, and it really is actually good. I really do dig this. There's just such great tracks on here, and especially as far as the lyrics to Alone go, it's actually one where I think they put a lot of thought into it instead of actually just forgetting just throwing shit together. And because the lyrics really for that track pretty much deals with in hindsight, it would be like a ballad, but because it deals with a broken heart, really, of a relationship or something that just did not end well, I guess. Somebody who's just really depressed over it. It really is kind of. It seems like a ballad, but when the song progresses, it just turns into such a great rocker of a song, and I feel that they actually put a lot of thought into it that other bands from the new wave or traditional heavy metal movement really fail at doing. That's one thing about it's like, while I say that Ambush really are ones who do well at putting songs together, even they kind of almost have a little bit of fault at putting together some really memorable stuff. Even though I can remember most of their stuff, it's just at least a memorable, like, ballad. Because the song "Close Your Eyes" does come off of one, but it's not. That song is definitely a ballad, but when you compare it to Alone, this is where you make a really good ballad. It's got such a great song off of this one, and again, I don't think even fucking White Wizzard probably would ever put together a really good ballad that ever comes close to Alone off this one. And I haven't heard a whole lot of White Wizzard besides the fucking Over the Top album, but because I don't know, I just lost a lot of interest in them. And then you got Enforcer as well, who pretty much tried to make who attempted at making one on the Death by Fire album with Take Me Out of This Nightmare, but again, that one just does not come close to Alone off of Ruler's Evil Nightmares. It does not come close to that. To me, I think Ruler really put thoughts into their lyrics for this album than half the other bands in the new wave for traditional heavy metal movement. This is where I think Ruler really sticks out from the rest. Is some of their lyrics are actually good, and even look at some of their lyrical content on Metal Archives. It's not all about partying or anything. I don't think there's any song on here that actually does deal with partying. Maybe Highway Blues maybe has a little bit of that, but not too much, because again, they actually put something together really good. And Highway Blues is another good song. It's actually it's got a bit of a I guess sort of a party-like theme to it, but it's more in the vein of maybe like maybe Deep Purple or maybe Vanadium or Saxon. It's very kind of like that sort of very hard rocking like style, you know, those type of that style. It is definitely it's just really good. Again, just listening to some of this, it seems to keep my attention instead of losing my attention. Hold on a second. So the album just seems to keep my attention instead of losing it. Anyways, even also another good spot about this album is the production. Man, again, the production actually sounds very old school. It's actually, to me, definitely does have, again, this is where, again, more the comparisons to Iron Maiden comes back in, is also with the production. It sounds like that it could have been produced by Martin Birch. It's got that sort of sound to it. It's pretty fucking crazy, but it does. And again, also the Deep Purple comparison, since Martin Birch also worked on such other classic Deep Purple albums, such as In Rock, and up until oh geez, even Come Taste, I don't know, I think he did work on most of their stuff, and then Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. You know, that's what some of this production here actually has, is that sort of Martin Birch like you know, atmosphere to it. It's like you can tell that that it has that they actually did their homework on what they really wanted, and they really succeeded on putting it out. And again, it just makes some of the songs really come to life. And that's what, again, is also missing out of some new wave or traditional heavy metal bands, is really tight production. Really tight instead. And again, one thing I don't like about maybe, let's say, Enforcer and White Wizard is the production. If you really want to be at least classic sounding, instead of going too retarded with the sort of production style, you have to at least have a very classic style production sort of feel to it. Very, like with this album, it does have, like the other ones, it just seems to be very overproduced. And I think again, that's what some bands seem to miss the mark with. Now, I'm not against overproduced albums, but just some just end up really fall flat. It's like, again, it's I feel like that's why retro thrash metal really missed its mark, was again with the production. It was all sounding very overproduced, very. It just wasn't really clicking. It made even just the songs sound very unmemorable. And I think that that's where the new wave of traditional heavy metal is actually doing better at, is actually most bands are actually having a good idea of what they're doing and what they want, instead of just throwing as much together just to try and, hey, we want to make a point, but the point just does not get right out there. But with this band, it's like they really are getting the point out there. It's like, this is what we wanted, and this is what we put out, and we succeeded at that. That's why I really do dig this one right here, is they really put as much thought into this one than other bands ever did, especially even within retro thrash metal. And this is not a retro thrash band, but they're just doing what some of those bands couldn't do at that time. Even though we still, we get Death Hammer as well, of the retro thrash movement, or post retro thrash movement, that actually do get the point of putting together a very classic sounding style production, because their stuff is raw, and that's how I like that sort of style of thrash metal. When it comes to heavy metal, again, sometimes a very, very good raw production can work for the music, especially when it comes to this. It works, because I don't know if overproduced style production would actually work for this type of album. And the guitar sound is it's very classic sounding, It's very that early 80s, late 70s style guitar sound, like something you expect from, let's say, Thin Lizzy and maybe even Ritchie Blackmore's guitar sound, or even Iron Maiden. It's just got that sound to it. And it really does. And another one again that I see where they really put a lot of thought into it is actually putting together very memorable guitar solos. The guitar solos are so fucking memorable, and so it really grabs you. And that's one thing that I think was again missing out of even most new wave or traditional heavy metal bands, is actually putting together memorable guitar solos. Ambush again comes to mind, that also succeeds at putting together some memorable guitar solos, and this one is close to that. To me, Ruler and Ambush really come off as probably one of the most memorable bands to come out of the new wave of traditional heavy metal move. And Witchblade is coming in coming in third. They're coming in there. They're in that sort of same league of putting in together some memorable guitar solos. And we're starting to get some really good bands that actually are putting a lot of thought into their music, instead of just going into one outer world section where it's like, yeah. But still, again, I just want to talk about this because it's just been really, it's been grabbing me lately, and again, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually file this away, because I've got it within the stacks of playlist albums, and this one, I don't know, it's gonna be hard for me to actually take it out of the playlist album section. It's gonna be hard to not want to play this again. It's just a good album. And I'm definitely I'm kind of curious on how their second album is, Rise to Power. Definitely will have to grab that one to see how they progressed on that one. And again, there's a 14-minute track on there. Sometimes very long songs can be kind of iffy, but let's hope that they can pull that off. So until then, this is Heavy Thrash saying I am out, and definitely I definitely recommend checking out Ruler. Definitely some pretty good stuff there. If you like that early Iron Maiden sound and kind of wish that some modern bands actually can do that sound justice, check out Ruler. Alright, later.